Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Protect and Prevent, the P3 Kids podcast brought to you by millionkids.org. If you knew that you can have a conversation that would save a teenager's life, would you do it? That is the title of this presentation today, this podcast. And it's a very important question. You see, over the past couple of years, the team of Million Kids has looked at more than 40 cases of young males that have taken their own life because they are a victim of financial sextortion. We pour through the cases looking for details. What can we learn that could save a child so that we can say, never again should this ever happen? And it is gut-wrenching work, I'll tell you that. I read these articles and the parents go, I never heard of financial sextortion. My son had never heard of financial sextortion. My kid was a good kid. I never once dreamed that they would fall prey to this. And it just is very, very difficult to watch these cases and think how quickly and easily it can happen to someone else. Every one of these parents had said, if I only knew, we could have had that conversation. Well, I am asking you, if you're listening to this podcast, I am asking you to help us and understand how important that one conversation is. So let me set the stage for you. First of all, we are not against technology. Quite the contrary. I have a book coming out called Digital Warfare, Our Kids on the Front Line. And it's all about how technology has changed. You see, up until now, what has happened is our kids learned the technology before us, and we kind of ran along with them going, you be careful on that thing now. And when you decide to give a kid a phone or an iPad or a laptop or whatever they're getting, or they access them at school, you say, well, be careful, don't get hacked, don't do anything stupid, but you don't really know the details on what to do. But a lot has changed over the past 3 years. And that's why I need you to understand why it is different. You see, technology is not good or bad. Technology is like a car. You can take it off to university and get a degree, or you can take it off to a strip club and get yourself in trouble. But it is not the car, it is how you prepare the driver of the car. But to prepare the driver of the car, you have to understand the environment that you're putting that driver in. And that is what has changed so much in the last 3 years. So most people are somewhat aware. This is what Digital Warfare, the book, is all about. Most people are aware that about 3 years ago, the entire world became connected by internet. Now, it's not completely connected. About 70% of the world is now connected, but that put 5.5 billion people online. But it just didn't get connected. It put countries that are developing countries, what we think of as third world countries, countries where there are a lot of poor people and a whole lot of organized crime, taking advantage of those poor people. And it is those organized criminal groups in some of the poorest countries on earth that now have the keys to your child's bedroom, that now have the keys to talking to your child whenever and whatever they want without your child understanding who is on the front line. Out of 5.5 billion people online at any given time, the bulk of them are probably okay people. But that also means that we are putting our kids up against some of the most ruthless and skilled criminal groups in the world. And they are sorely unprepared. Our children are unprepared to stand against them. And especially if we don't have that important conversation. You be careful on that thing now doesn't cut it. We have to get the parents up to date to understand what has happened so that you can prepare your child to live intelligently to stand against the bad guy. You would never send your child into war without defining the enemies. And yet, every day, the entire world places innocent kids online without ever defining who is out there with them and what that's going to look like to you. So let me help you understand financial sextortion, and I will show you how it works. First of all, I'm going to ask you, once we get you up to speed, to consider having these important conversations with your child. And let me tell you how this conversation might be different than one you've had before. And I'm saying this loosely as if a parent is talking to a child. But if you're a faith-based leader, I encourage you to have that conversation with your youth group to make sure your youth pastor is right up to date on all of these subjects and will recognize and be able to intervene if one of your youth group members becomes a victim of sextortion, or one of your senior members, who are some of the most vulnerable in the world, will become a victim. So what you do is you put away the wagging finger. Now, I'm not suggesting that a parent shouldn't be a parent. Let's get that straight. It is your phone, you're paying for the phone, and you're the parent. And in my world, the parent is still responsible for the child's behavior. Now, I know that's a controversial subject in some circles, but I know that if you're listening to this podcast, you're a concerned parent. And you're somebody who really, really cares. And so I'm asking you to sit down and have the conversation. The conversation should look something like this. Look, I know it's my phone, and I've told you that I'm going to monitor the phone, and I'm going to have the apps, and I'm going to check on the phone. And, I'm not going to say that's going away. But I've learned a lot in the last few weeks, and I want to have a different conversation with you, a conversation as an adult, because you already know more about technology than I do, and I have trusted you with this knowledge, okay? Because I trust you to have good judgment and do what is right online. And I know that you're a good kid. I believe in you. I wouldn't have done it. And I'm here to support you. But I've also done a lot of reading lately, and I have come to realize that the world we put you in maybe a year or two ago, or we're about to put you in, has changed dramatically. And I want to talk about that because I know that you think that you're going to recognize if you're being catfished or if you're about to become a victim. But all of this has become so sophisticated that we're finding out that none of us recognize, even adults. With all of our knowledge and all of our intelligence and all of our maturity, we don't always recognize either. So here's what happened. The entire world became connected 3 years ago by internet. So when you're on Discord or you're on Roblox or you're on all the others that are out there, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, all of those, you're on there with billions of people. And many of them are from developing countries that are extremely poor. So what happened in 2022 is the world began to get 5G high-speed internet. And that includes some of the poorest countries in the world. Countries like Nigeria and Ivory Coast and Pakistan and Philippines and Myanmar. And only 70% of the world is now connected. Over the next 2 or 3 years, some of the poorest of the poor will now be online. They may not have much money. They may live in a shack, a grass hut on a dirt floor. They may not have a bank account, but they see that they can get money from Americans because they can reach Americans and they can blackmail Americans. And so what has happened is the world connected by internet. And it isn't just that the world connected by internet. But they now have all the same bells and whistles you have. They have artificial intelligence. They can gather all the information about you. They can use geolocation software and tell where you're at. They can gather up all the information about your latest scholarship or the fact that you're a homecoming king or that you're being recruited by some university or the fact that you set some record in track. They can get pictures of our house because of what is on Zillow and Google Earth. They can gather all this information and they will look like somebody you know, but you don't quite know. And what is happening is that the organized criminal groups in these countries, these developing countries, are using very poor people to pretend to be your friend. So here's how it works. They catch you at a weak moment. It might be a time when you're like really, really happy and you just won and you want to celebrate and you want to share with someone. Or it could be a time when you're kind of down. Maybe you've flunked out of some class or, you broke up with a girlfriend or you got in a fight with mom and dad. Whatever it is, they'll catch you at a moment when you're not quite aware. And the next thing they will do is they will look like somebody who knows you. They will look like a friend of a friend. Watch out, okay? Somebody who's reaching out to you, and they'll probably look cute, by the way, hot, sexy, somebody who that you want to get to know. And they are all wonderful, and they are somebody that will be your next best friend. So they'll catch you when you're not alert. And then the next thing you know, they're a friend of a friend. Stop right there in your tracks. A friend of a friend should be a huge red flag. I would just simply say, okay, they want to friend you. Don't friend them. Just ignore them and contact your friend. I suggest that if it's a good friend, that you get code words between you. Here's how they look like a friend of a friend. Did you know that all your Instagram followers are public information? So's your TikTok followers. And they'll go on there and try out some names. And you'll think if it's in a weak moment and they look hot, they look sexy, they look like somebody you want to know. They might be 14, they might be 17. And the next thing you know, this is fun. And everybody's excited. You met somebody new and they're all flirty. Run, baby, run. Stop. That has to change for you. If you see that, then either stay away or just let them know you'll contact the friend and you'll get back to them. You might want a code word between you and your friends, but either way, a friend of a friend is not necessarily a good thing anymore because there's so much information out there about you, anybody can be a friend of a friend. So that's the first thing. And then they start sending you flirty things, something a little provocative, or they want you to send one. That is not an invitation to send a nude, okay? That is a red flag. Run, baby, run. In the past, it could be a lot of fun. But a nude online is like a ticking time bomb to change your life. And I know that so many kids have been involved in sending nudes online in the past, but we need that conversation, that important conversation now that can save a teenager's life. From this day forward, a nude online is not an invitation. It is a warning sign that your life is about to blow up forever. So parents, I talk with parents, I talk with pastors, I talk with teachers, and they say, well, I don't think my kid would send a nude. Well, the numbers in the past are staggering, and we've got to overcome that. Now, we need to put down the wagging finger if they've sent a nude in the past. I get that. But here are some statistics that come from some from Thorne, some from NCMEC. 12% of 9 to 12-year-olds have sent a nude online. 31% of kids 13 to 17, that's 1 out of 3, agree that it's normal for a kid their age to share a nude online. 1 in 7 of kids that are ages 9 to 17 have already shared a nude, including 1 in 8 kids that are ages 9 to 12. 38% of minors blame the victim whose nudes were leaked. Here's why it's so important, mom and dad. Nudes online now can be used to blackmail your child to a point where they honestly think that their lives are destroyed. And so we need that conversation up front. We need that conversation in such a way that they understand that a nude online is not an invitation, that it is an indication that your life is about to be destroyed. Okay, they know a bunch about you already. They pretend to be a friend of a friend, and it's somebody you know. And the next thing you know, the minute you send a nude, your life has changed forever. You see, your child in that case has fallen prey to some of the most ruthless, organized criminal cartels in the world. And this is exactly what's happening. That 5G high-speed pipeline to your child looks like millions of dollars to organized criminal groups who are absolutely ruthless. When you put your child out there online without them understanding, you are putting your child in a very dangerous world. They have to understand the world is no longer like it was last year. And then the next thing that conversation needs to have is, I hope you never, ever again, if you have sent a nude and it turns out badly, please trust me and come tell me quickly. We will work on it together. And, maybe your child hasn't sent a nude, but now with artificial intelligence, anyone can be a victim of deep fake. Any one of those organizations overseas can modify your child's photo and then start blackmailing them. So the next part of the conversation is the most important. I trust you. I believe in you. That's why I trusted you with this phone. But I also want you to know that you are the most important thing in the whole world to me. And I think you're smart, and I think you're a leader. And I need you to understand this and be a leader to your younger brothers and sisters and all future generations of kids online. Because at any moment in time, your life can turn into a blackmail hell. And I need a promise from you. I want you to sign it in writing with me. Number one, I hope you don't send a nude. And number two, I hope you never become a victim. But if you do become a victim, you will trust me enough that you will come to me. Because what happens is now that you have these ruthless cartels that are getting our kids' photos, is it turns into living hell instantly for your child. This is why more than 40 young people have taken their own lives. And one of them did it within 3 hours of the blackmail beginning. One kid got 1,000 texts in a 24-hour period. Even your most stellar adult cannot stand against these people. This is organized crime that is hell-bent on getting money and destroying your child. And they don't care what they have to do it. So what happens is your child gets a barrage of texts and emails and direct messages. Will they send the photo? Maybe. Will they share it with others? Maybe. Will they quit? No. If you give them money, will they stop? No. Several of these kids that took their own life paid money. They didn't stop. Here's what I need you to understand. I hope it never happens to you, but if you do, I am here for you. I love you. I believe in you. It'll be the toughest thing you ever did. But shut down that computer, turn off that phone, walk away, and come to me and law enforcement immediately. We not only can help save you, we can save other people. You are not their only victim. So don't get involved with them. Don't fall prey. But if you do, please trust me enough, you will come to me. Now, don't delete the photos if you've sent them. Don't delete the correspondence. It is evidence. These people are not going to quit ever until they destroy that young person. So, mom and dad, that's why this conversation is so important. We are creating videos that are short form videos on TikTok and everywhere. This is a conversation, mom and dad. It is the most important conversation you may ever have. I trust you. I hope you haven't. But if you do, I'm not going to wag my finger. I'm not going to take your phone. I am going to go with you, and we are going to take this on. This is organized crime. You cannot stand against them. I cannot stand against them. So you have to understand how this changed. I need pastors to come forward and let me educate you. I need youth ministers come forward and let me educate you. I need sports coaches to come forward and let me educate you, because these young guys will believe you when they won't believe anything else. And I need parents and teachers and people all over the world to come with us and let us educate you. It is the most important conversation you can ever have with a teenager, and you can save a young person's life. My name is Opal Singleton. This organization is called millionkids.org. Millionkids.org. I hope you will sign up for our newsletter. I hope you will go on our YouTubes and listen to these podcasts. I hope that you will get our videos and show them to everyone you know. I hope you'll buy our book, Digital Warfare, when you come out. I hope that if you're a civic leader, faith-based leader, or a parent, you will contact us at Opal at Million Kids and let us help you become a leader to get this conversation going around the world. It is a conversation that can save a child's life. Help us get our videos out there. If this has been helpful to you and you want to fund these projects financially, we are millionkids.org. Please go to our organization and donate, and we will use your funding to get this message out, to open this conversation so it goes around the world and reaches every teenager in a heartbeat. Remember, we're only just getting started. 70% of the world is connected, 30% has not. As these organized criminal cartels reach our kids, this is digital warfare, and I need each and every one of you to help us take this on. Thank you for listening. I'll catch you on the next podcast.